There's an ancient Chinese proverb which says sweet, sour, bitter, pungent, all must be tasted. And tonight we have the lot in one tiny little bite-sized package. The captain of the affirmative, Paul McDermott.
Yeah! Oh, hello, Melbourne. Thank you so much. I must confess I am a little bit confused. Is this even a debate? Where's the worm, ladies and gentlemen? Where is the fucking worm for this one? Food is better than sex. Yes. Heaps of things are better than sex. Football is better than sex. Having your team win the premiership, that's better than sex. Television is better than sex. A good book is better than sex. Mario Kart is better than sex. Thinking about sex is often better than the act itself, is better than sex itself. I suppose if we're couching it in food terms, then go on the old self-serve. For the fellas, that would be taking Captain Picard to Warp 5. And for the ladies, pushing the envelope or slapping some sense into Susan Boyle. You always hear that, don't you? Thank you, ladies. Thank you very much for that. You always hear that, don't you? You always hear people say, oh, mate, it was better than sex. Why do they say that? Because it was better than sex. You never hear anyone say, and I swear to God this is true, you will never hear anyone say, oh, mate, it was better than food. It just doesn't happen. If you love food, there's a word for you. It's a word full of comfort and warmth. It's a contemporary word. It's used a lot at the moment. Foodie. It's lovely, isn't it? It's warm and cuddly. If you love sex, there's a word for you. Do you know what it is? You're a slut. Not you personally, I don't know. Maybe a good many years ago, I think. It's an old person, ladies and gentlemen. Probably couldn't hear a word I was saying. Where was I? There's a word for you. Slut. And why? Because every society has problems with sex. Christian, Islamic, Buddhist, it doesn't matter what society you're in, sex fucks you up. Sex can leave you feeling degraded, psychologically damaged, and emotionally destroyed. And that's when it's good. The sex act is a biological imperative. Every animal, insect, fish, bird that flies has a need to reproduce, to bring forth offspring. And why? So their offspring can taste how bloody good food is. Here you go, little sparrow. Get that into you. It's a worm. And thus the golden circle of life continues. No species of creature has ever valued sex over food. If they did, they're extinct. You go into a room where food is cooking and the smell, the aromas are intoxicating. You go into a room where people have just had sex and... Quite frankly, it's not the same, is it? It's like someone just swabbed the deck of a deep-sea trawler with Handy Andy. It's a combination of fish oil and White King. Bringing back some memories, is it, darling? The human tongue has over 8,000 individual taste buds that can detect the 5 known elements of taste perception. How complex is that? A tongue has the ability to detect the subtlest of flavours. If you taste salmon, you can detect from just eating the salmon what ocean it came from. Oh, that's Atlantic salmon. The male penis can't taste anything. I don't know why I said male penis, because clearly there's no female penis. If there was, it'd say, feed me, feed me. Food. Food is rich and wonderful. Sex, on the other hand, well, on either hand, can be quite nice. But it doesn't compare to trying to swallow 8 ounces of prime beef crammed between 2 creamy white flour-dusted buns. Women, I've been told, enjoy sex. I've never seen it myself. I do look for signs of enjoyment, but it's hard sometimes when they're trying to finish off the Sudoku and they have their back to you. A male orgasm, on the other hand, is pretty simple. It's a momentary cacophony of wonder. Then bang, you're asleep. Phonetically, a male orgasm would sound like this. Dum-da-da. And it doesn't matter if you're having sex with Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt, an Explorer sock, or rubbing up against a stringy bark tree. It's always dum-da-dum. Because for a male, it's all in the mind, ladies and gentlemen. Food is better than sex when you're in prison. Food is better than sex when you go to Catholic school. Food is better than sex when you're in a coma. Nothing more awkward than coming out of a coma for 2 years and finding you're 6 months pregnant. That's awkward. Food is better than sex if you're in the royal family. In Australia, we love our cooking shows. You can turn on any channel night or day, and someone's going to be frying up something. Master Chef, ladies and gentlemen, was the most brilliant of all the cooking shows. It showed us Matt Preston, and Matt Preston made me see food again with fresh eyes. I would love it if we could deal with sex in the same way we do with food. Thank you, darling. I'm just going to let you simmer for a while in your own juices. Here's one I prepared earlier. I'm just going to rub some salt into that. Nice and crisp. Food is better than sex. If you come home after having a big meal in the middle of the day, the meal you've got at home isn't going to smell the other meal on you and threaten to throw itself in the bin. Food doesn't care if you're a clumsy eater. An apple doesn't look at you with those guilty eyes and say, "Eat me more like a peach." At the end of a meal, you don't have to say, "Wow, that was the best meal I ever had." Food never asks you to compare it to other meals. Food doesn't make you sleep in the wet patch. Food doesn't see other food behind your back. After a meal, you know you'll be having another meal fairly shortly. With food, if it's something new you haven't had before, it's, you've got to suck it and see. With sex, that's dangerous. A meal never asks you while you're quietly digesting, "What are you thinking?" You can always send a meal back or push it to one side. Have you ever tried that with sex? A meal never fucks your best friend to get back at you. I don't have to shave my feet before a meal. Food doesn't mind if you put a paper bag over its head. Do that. Oh, issues. For the footy players out there, it doesn't matter if you accidentally glass your meal. And a meal doesn't care if you share it with 10 of your mates. Food never tricks you into sex in a back alley. Slut. Best of all, you can't knock up a plate of chips. So you can choose to not have sex and become what they call celibate, or you can choose not to eat and become what they call dead. That's me, I'm done, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. First speaker, fully affirmative. Thank you very much. Let's go to the world.